Production.
I already know there's about to be a few people on the YouTubes being like, your last video wasn't actually a technical analysis breakdown. We want to hear where's the technical, like, yo, chill out, all right? I had to go on a little rant. I like to do that sometimes. So we'll get into it, all right? So what I'm looking at here first and foremost is it's clear we're not going to get that push because of the earnings. We actually got dummied on earnings. I don't really care too much about any of that anyway. All I know is that there is a bearish reaction, which is nice because right off the lows, we come straight ripping into this zone. Like from the very bottom, it's essentially 100% trade, right? So now we're creating that higher low. Now, where is it going to come in? I'm looking at this major zone, right? $18 that we've come down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've been around that zone a bunch of times. Lots of confluence in that area. We could potentially come back into there. That would help us create some sort of a weekly higher low, right? So again, that's important for us if we want to break up higher. We can't just continuously boom and bust because it's going to scare out a lot of investors, right? Long term, I'm bullish on this name. I explained that in the previous video. But when we're looking at this kind of day-to-day and the weekly technical perspective, I'm thinking that this has a potential of happening here where we get some sort of pattern that's being created where we have to weaken this zone because clearly we shoot right up into this range and we reject it. So this zone here is still pretty heavy, lots of supply. We need to weaken that area. The only time we can do that is if we come back into that zone a few times and gather more shares. People start buying it up, buying it up, buying it up until there's not any shares left in that zone. Now that could take a lot of time here, right? So I also marked out this zone. It looks like we're starting to break through it right now when we zoom in. We could potentially hold it, but I'd be looking to come back into this zone, especially because there's a few gaps behind when we look at like the 4-hour and the 2-hour. So expect it to come back down to the $18 range potentially. Who knows, right? Depending on what happens with Bitcoin. If Bitcoin decides to hold off for a bit, we could come back into this demand zone, which again, like how many times have we come to this demand zone? If it comes back down there, you could look for a risk to reward trade, right? I don't think it will come back down there, but hey, I'm no market wizard who knows what's going to happen next. Nobody does. So in order to keep, your head on a swivel and to be humble for both directions on what could potentially happen, we got to be aware of it coming back down to 14 and 18. Again, resistance, 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 resistance. It should act as support now. So that's the technical perspective of GLXY. Weekly time frame, right? We shoot up 100% into this zone. We should expect some sort of higher low to come from this. So that's the breakdown. Peace.